If you plan daily, this is likely to pull you into reactivity, and you don't want to be one of those people who wakes up each morning wondering what you're going to do. Yet monthly planning doesn't really take into account your shorter term priorities. The weekly plan is more likely to be a natural rhythm for short term planning. So how do we execute on those priority areas in our quarterly plan, yet remain responsive and flexible? This speaks to the magic of the Workly. The Workly captures your critical next actions for the coming week. It's also great for your peace of mind because you capture everything that could be on your immediate horizon and puts it in the right place. There are 6 steps to this. The first thing we do is look up to our most important activities. These are your quarterly big 3 that you wrote in your quarterly plan, and they should be informed by our KPIs. During this weekly session, we can plot the activities for the upcoming week that are going to drive forward our big 3. The next thing I do is I need to check in on the role compulsory stuff. So there's stuff we just have to do, without which we'll either fail on our big rocks or land up in the crisis quadrant. In your Workly, capture any of the compulsory actions or duties which will take your time. Perhaps you need to schedule a meeting with one of your team who's expressed frustration, and if you don't, you might lose them. Perhaps you need to edit some board documents for the boss for the meeting on Friday. These are activities where you really don't have much choice, you just simply have to find time for. Next step is to check your hangover. Now, I don't mean that type of hangover, I mean the week that's just passed. You need to think about the week that's just passed. What things had you planned that didn't happen? Does it still matter? Did you go to any meetings, but you haven't captured any of the actions anywhere? If you have a residue of commitments, then put it into your current Workly under hangover. This is particularly important for items that have not been captured anywhere in your system. To do this properly, it's worth looking closely over last week's commitments in your calendar and asking yourself, have I completed this? Are there any actions that need to be put into my Workly? We all know it's all very well and best practice to look at your big rocks first. However, when you check your hangover by looking through last week's calendar, your mind's going to go to probably 4 to 20 projects or responsibilities that are on your plate. And these can sometimes become a sudden priority. Once a week, you need to check into these things, which may in future become your big rocks. Check for any spot fires and allocate time to deal with any of those short-term issues before they become a crisis. You might have also captured things on your notepad or your phone, or you might have stuff in your head that need to be dealt with. Check in on all of these spaces once a week. And if these things are worth your valuable time, then write it into your Workly under the rest. Now look into your calendar for the week ahead and the weeks ahead and ask yourself, is there anything I need to be doing next week to prepare myself? This is called your weather eye. Do you have a report due in 2 weeks' time that really needs some upfront research being done next week? Or perhaps you've got that big meeting with the boss in a few weeks and you really need to be devoting some prep time to work on that next week. In short, is there anything coming up that you need to start thinking about now? Put this into your Workly under Weather Eye.